good evening, and welcome. Tonight's show is about releasing and letting go. And let me tell you, that's all I've been doing for the last 20 minutes, releasing and letting go and breathing. So welcome to Are You Being Loved Up by You? And I'm really excited because I have a special guest tonight. But before I talk about her, I just wanted to say that I want to wish a happy Thanksgiving to all my friends and family and anybody else out there that's in the States. Gobble, gobble, wish I was there. But I'll be having my own little bit of turkey a little bit later on. Not tonight, but this weekend. So tonight I'm going to be welcoming the wonderful Sukina Garcia. She is a designer. She is a beautiful woman. She is a force to be reckoned with as well. And, I don't want to say too much. I'm going to just sort of bring her on, let you meet her, and you can be the judge. But I'm sure you'll all agree with me. So a warm welcome to Sukina. Hi, Sukina.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Welcome. It's been a bit of a release and letting go evening. So but we're here and we've got it going on. So it's all good. So let's start because you've been so patient, and let's let the audience get a little taste of what you're about. So can you just tell everyone where you're from and where you live?
I'm from Leicester and I live right in the heart of the city. I've lived here. I've been back here for the last 5 years. Before that, I lived in Spain for a while. And before that, I used to just sort of travel around the country with my previous jobs. So, yeah, I've been back a while.
So do you remember how we connected?
We met at a women's, it was kind of like, it was a networking event for women who wanted to empower each other. That's where I first met you, and we just hit it off.
Great. Yes, that's so true. So let me ask you, what does being loved up mean to you?
So love really for me is attached to happiness. So really the question for me is, what is happiness to me? And happiness to me is peace. It might be a very odd answer, but to me, happiness is peace in the mind, quiet in the mind, and most of all, it's mental well-being. And to achieve that peace, I really need to love myself, because I'm the only one that can actually give me that internal peace. Which brings me happiness. And it's all really I strive for in life, is to have mental well-being. And to do that, I really need to give myself self-love in so many different forms. It's not just about eating well, sleeping well, resting well, which is what I'm really working on this year. But it's also things like setting boundaries, being kind to yourself, accepting yourself for all your weaknesses, all your flaws, so that I can keep that peace, that inner peace. And so if I can do that, I'm peaceful on the inside enough to be able to accept love and give love. So pieces would be my answer. It might be a strange one, but it'd be my answer.
No, and it's a great one, because most of us think of happiness as being excited and jumping around and all of this. So it's lovely to hear somebody who feels the opposite to that happiness for you is just sort of a calm space.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that. So let me ask you, do you have a regular sort of ritual or spiritual practice that you do on any regular basis?
I do now, yes. I do now from sort of after things have happened at the end of last year. I used to meditate a lot. And I sort of fell off the path quite a bit, and you know, got swallowed up into life and all these other things. But I've been led back to my path and my ritual. So now I have a morning ritual, which is I do try to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, though I find it very difficult. But I try to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning with sunrise to start my day. I have a large glass of water, and then I head to my meditation area that I have in my home. And I cleanse my space and myself with some Palo Santo, which basically just kind of gets rid of any negative energy from the day before, cleanses myself and my space, ready for a new day. I then do some breathing exercises, followed by a meditation, either a meditation, just a simple meditation with nothing, or I use an app called Insight. I don't know if you've heard of that app.
Insight Timer, my best friend.
It's a brilliant app. And so I choose morning meditation off that. And then after that, I do some mantra, which is new for me, which I've only started this year. And I find it's just a great way to start my day. I don't know if it's because I'm singing along in this mantra kind of form, but it's a brilliant way to start my day.
That's wonderful. And I love, you know, I could just visualize the Palo Alto, you just sort of getting that around in the air and getting out the old and bringing the new fresh day and getting ready. I love that. It's beautiful. Beautiful. This is great.
Really nice.
But I just want to let you know, we've got quite a few people listening in, and we've got some nice comments coming up here. Somebody by the name of Eva says, I love your top, Sukina.
Thank you. It's organic and sustainable and kind to people and planet.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Someone also said, hello, beautiful ladies. I'll take one of those. Thank you as well. Send that out to you as well. And Yvonne is saying good evening and happy Thanksgiving to all our US friends and family. So,
oh, that's lovely.
And Yvonne also said hello, Michelle and Sukina. So that's so lovely. So, you know, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it, but I'm going to come to that. One of the things I wanted to really have you share with the audience is your passion for Betty Brown. And I'd love you to just tell the audience a little bit about how you birthed it. How did you give it life? You know, where did that come from? Was it an idea? Did something or someone inspire you? Or was it something you always held within? Was it a dream that you always said, you know what, I'm going to create this and I'm going to call it this and da-da-da-da. So fill us in, please. All of yours.
So Betty Brown has, it was founded quite a while ago before I actually started doing anything about it. It was an idea that I've had for years. I've always worked in fashion retail since I was 16. And it's always been my job. And I was a manageress in fashion retail while I was at university. I worked my way up the ladder pretty quickly. I just love dressing women. I love making them feel great. I love giving them that confidence. I love it when a woman comes to me and says, I smashed that meeting or I smashed that deal because I felt so comfortable in what I was wearing. It gave me confidence, you know, and it's really great job satisfaction. So I worked on the high street for years and years and years. And as time went on, I was heading towards my 30s. And I had this burning passion for so long that I wanted to do this for myself. You know, I wanted to design my own clothes and make women feel great in my own designs. Because I really felt like I started to understand the female form after 15 years of working in the fashion industry. So I left my career when I was doing quite well. I moved to Spain. Randomly into a city I've never been to before.
Wow.
I took a year off work, and then I spent the next year and a half basically self-teaching myself through YouTube, through books, through anything I could get hold of, really, to design and make clothes. Wow. And in 2015 I held a weekend with a Christmas collection of mine that was just sort of dabbling around in. And I sold something like 60 dresses in 2 days. So I realized that
you had something.
I had something. So I packed up, I went back to Spain, and 4 weeks later I came back and opened a shop within the 5th week.
Fantastic. So for all of you guys that are thinking about something you want to do, you think you've got this burning desire, but you're not sure, or should I, coulda, woulda, maybe, here's somebody's telling you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself and do it. So
absolutely, if you love it enough.
If you love it enough, it really has to be a passion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It can't be sort of a nice to have little hobby. It has to be, well, it could be a hobby that you're really passionate about, but you want to take it to the next level, which is really important.
Yeah.
So with that, I wanted to talk a little bit more about releasing and letting go. So one of the things that I wanted to bring to the audience's attention is that I used to do Joy of Connection, but I used to do it as a physical event. It was an event that we did in a space, in a beautiful location, a vegan restaurant that was an old bank that they converted, really beautifully done. And we used to host the Joy of Connection, and every week, a different topic, we'd have a speaker, and then we'd sort of have a round table, and everyone around the table could just talk about what they were thinking and feeling, what was going on. And this particular week, we talked about the theme of death and rebirth. Now, not necessarily in the traditional sense of just dying and then somebody new is born, but, you know, life goes through cycles. As we evolve, things die and things are reborn. And so we sort of went around the table and asked each person, you know, what does that mean to you? How does that look to you, kind of thing? How does it feel? And I remember Sukina said, well, I feel like I'm dying. And I think the whole room just went quiet and just took a breath. Just like that. Because for someone to be that honest and to say that meant that she was really in a space that she really, really had to just get that out there and let everybody know. And it was a brave, brave comment. It was a brave statement. And I think everyone was sort of all eyes on, what is she going to say next? We're going to hear this. So would you like to share with us a little bit about
Sure. It was strange because when I came to the event, I didn't know what the topic was on. I couldn't remember what the topic was on. I just remember that I wanted to come and that I was saying I was coming to this event. And then we were talking about death and rebirth. And I think it was either that day or the day before. I'd had my boutique running for 5 years. And I suffered a massive blow last year where basically the supplier ripped me off and took everything that I had, everything that I owned, everything that I had. Basically, a supplier had ripped off from me. And I hadn't told any of my clients or put it on social media. I'd sort of kept it all inside. And I think the day before I came to the event, I'd announced that I was closing down. And when you're obsessed with something that you do, you know, I am obsessed with Betty Brown. I live, breathe, sleep, eat it. When I was closing it down and I said to you, I feel like I'm dying. And you said, what do you mean you're dying? And I was like, I've announced that I'm closing. And for me, I felt like I was dying because I had an attachment. I had a really strong attachment to Betty Brown, and I still do. And we all know that attachment causes suffering. So as I was, you know, I'd made this decision that had been playing in my head for a while and I had nowhere else to go. I left it to the very last minute to see if I could savor the business. It was going to go. And I just felt like my world had fell apart, you know, and I'd formed these attachments to all these ideologies about myself, about Betty Brown, about the way the world works, you know, that people were kind like me, people didn't do things like that, especially women to women. You you know, I formed this attachment to certainty that Betty Brown was going to be a success. You know, I was an award-winning designer. I was one of the best boutiques in Leicester town. And I was known for it. And all of a sudden I was going to be closed. You know, I felt like a failure. I felt like people would see it as I failed, you know, and then ego started to come about and my ego was hurt. And then I started to go into self-pity, you know, and I don't mind admitting it, you know, I started feeling sorry for myself. And then I started grieving that why has this happened to me? You know, this horrendous thing has happened to me. It's ruined my life. It's ruined all my dreams, everything I've worked and given up for the last 5 years. Because starting a business, I mean, it's not easy. If you run a business yourself, you know that there's a lot of sacrifice to make. And I made some huge sacrifices to become what I had become.
Yes.
So I found it really, really difficult to comprehend. And I did feel like I was dying. I felt like my world was falling apart. But as I was coming down this spiral, you know, it got to a point where I had to stop. I had to accept that this was my situation. This is what has happened. There's no more about keep recycling the story in my head again and again. How can they do this to me? How can they do this to me? I mean, I don't deserve it. I worked so hard, you know. I had to stop that cycle and I had to accept that this is what's happened. I can't control it. I need to stop the blame and I need to surrender. I needed to surrender in that moment. I needed to surrender. I needed to release. I needed to let go. And, you know, surrendering means that when you're in the present moment, you look at the circumstances, you take a step back and you really look at your life on a whole. You know, you fully surrender because you've got nothing else to do. I was so low that I had nothing else I could do. The only thing I could do was surrender and to sit back. And when you start to sit back and detach yourself, I then started to see new insights and a different perspective on things. And it gives you a new opportunity to look at things in a different light, and it allows you to make space for change. When you start to surrender, you start to open up space so that you can change your circumstances. And
can I just interrupt you for a second and just ask you, would you say that you had to sit with that pain for a minute? You really had to just sort of take it in as part of the surrendering to that pain and just going through it, whether it was blame, whether it was anger, whatever it was? Or would you say that was part of the process?
Yeah, I definitely went through the whole anger. I went through blame, like I said, pity, feeling sorry for myself. I went through it all till I got to this point where it's like when you sit on one of those spinning bikes, you know, at the gym, and you keep pedaling the same thing, but you're not going anywhere, but you keep these negative thoughts going round and round and round, but the bike's not moving, you know, you're not moving forward. And the way that I got out of that was I had to sit and focus on what I had that was still thriving. You know, I had to start with gratitude. The way to get out and to release myself and let go of that situation was to be like, but look what else I have, you know. And what did I have? I had amazing friendships. I had an abundance of love, you know, that I still am so grateful for today. You know, and I had a roof over my head. It's not my roof, but I have a roof, you know. And I think that when you start to look at things from an area of gratitude, things then started to change for me. I closed down my store. Time went on. I kept every day practicing gratitude, every morning practicing gratitude, but fully practicing it. When I mean fully, you have to feel it from within. You know, when you say that you're thankful for something, I was tear-jerkingly thankful for something. I really felt everything that I was thankful for, which is great on today, Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is.
You know, and I practiced gratitude, and things started to change for me because I started to put out positive energy, positive vibes, you know, and it allowed change. It allowed change.
And so how did you begin your rebirth? How did you start again?
So practicing gratitude and really with surrendering and stepping back, like I said, I got to evaluate things. I really got to have a new insight and a new perspective on what I was doing. And because I'd hit rock bottom, you know, at this time I was like closing my doors, and that was going to be the end of it. And like I said, I started to practice gratitude. And when I started to practice gratitude, things just started coming my way. And there was a guy that came to view my store because he wanted to rent it after I'd left. You know, it was up for rent now and I was moving out. And he came in and he said, I heard about your story, and my wife was telling me about your story. And do you know, I have an office. And I was thought, yeah, you know, people always say, oh, you know, these kinds of things. And he actually meant it. He was like, look, I have an office. If you want to rent it, it's not a big space, but it'll fit your little studio in. I thought, is this guy serious? Like, you know, here's me waking up in the morning, crying my eyes out because I've got nowhere to go. And he says, yeah, pop down at 4 o'clock and come and see the office. 4 o'clock, there I was in his office. Just the perfect little amount of space for me to start again in a little studio in an industrial estate. And, you know, things then just started to build from there. But this time, when I started to rebuild the brand, because I was at the bottom, this time I thought, I'm going to rebuild the brand this time in line with my values and really align with what I believe in. Because if the customers don't like it, I mean, I haven't got anything to offer right now anyway. So this time, when I started rebuilding, I rebuilt with my core values, and my core values are mainly about kindness. And that's kindness to the planet, kindness to animals, and kindness to people. And so Betty Brown has changed now into a sustainable vegan brand, which really makes my heart sing.
Yes. And that's so wonderful. It's, you know, it's about, you know, if you're given love, you're going to receive love. There's just no two ways about it. And sometimes we're not aware of it, but we're just doing what we do best, which is caring and loving other people. And if you give in that way, it always comes back to you. The universe never lets you down. God never lets you down. It always, I've been in many situations myself where I'm just sort of like, oh my goodness, I remember being in New York and I had my last $1 and I gave it to somebody who was homeless on the street. And I got home, and this is back in the day when you got paid by a check. And then the next morning I realized I didn't have $1 to get on the subway. And I was, oh my goodness, how am I going to get to work? Oh, what was I doing? I was so silly, you know. And then I opened my drawer to get my keys out, and there was a $5 bill sitting there. Okay, you can't make that up. Where did that come from? Who put that in my drawer? I live by myself, so it had to be me. But, you know, a really simple version of that, because I gave to somebody else, it gave back to me. So that's a really beautiful example of giving and receiving and kindness. You know, when you're kind to others and you're kind to yourself, people want to treat you the same way. It's a reflection, isn't it? You know,
absolutely.
So your kindness to yourself was reflected in your face, and this gentleman saw you and just thought, well, what a wonderful woman. She's got an amazing soul, which you have. I got to help her out. It probably felt, it didn't feel right doing this because, you know, I'm kind of taking away what she deserves. So how wonderful is that? That's great. That's
honestly,
great.
I just couldn't believe my luck. And that week, things just kept coming in and coming in. It was just like things just started to change, and it really is what you put out there, you know. And positive energy is, you know, it's got a lot to answer for. It's a strong gravity.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to give you some of the comments the audience is saying. One person said, love it, rebuild with values. And someone else said, loving when someone just goes and chases the wishes of the heart. Passion for sure. Power to you, Sukina. Power to you, Sukina. That's wonderful. And I don't know if you saw it earlier, but Joanna said, great story, which it is. It's an amazing story, which is why I wanted to bring her on board. And one of the things that I was really impressed with you was that when COVID started, I saw you started doing the masks. And so those were available. And slowly, I started seeing more things coming up. The beautiful T-shirt that you're wearing, which I have mine. I was going to wear it tonight, but I didn't want to be a twin, so I didn't wear it. But her beautiful T-shirt.
Yeah, the masks are such a great example. So in the end of March, when this all came out, there were doctors and nurses and a lot of community nurses who didn't have PPE. I don't know if you remember, there was that struggle that people weren't getting PPE, and there was doctor surgeries. And I thought, you know, I'm not doing anything right now. Let me work out how to make these masks. I sent out over 100 masks for free, my own fabrics, my own time, my own postage, and I was going around delivering them everywhere to doctor surgeries and nurses and hospitals and NHS staff and elderly, a lot of elderly people who were really frightened.
Yes.
And at that time, obviously, I wasn't making any money because the business shut down in January. And so I hadn't made any money since December. And I was just like, I'm going to make these masks. And all of a sudden, people then started to ask if they could buy them. And so it just shows that it sort of turned. And then I put them online. And then I started selling so many masks. So that was out of doing something for love, because I wanted to help. And I know that I could help.
Yes.
In turn, the universe took care of me and said, I'm going to pay you for your work, what you've done, you know. And then I started getting some work from it.
You know, I think it's so amazing. It's a great example, again, of acts of kindness, again, as you said, and it just comes right back to you. Somebody's asked if we can share the link to your masks. They'd love to support you.
Oh, thank you. I've had sent quite a few actually to England, America, like France, like all over the place. It's been great. But yeah, we'll pop the link in.
Yeah, and they want you to share your website. But I think you're more of an Instagram lady, right?
I am, yes. So if you want to get hold of me and you want to follow up about everything that I do, and also information on how you can be sustainable in your daily practices, my Instagram handle is Life of Betty Brown.
Yeah, we've got it running
on the bottom.
Yeah. We're ahead of you, girl. We're ahead of you. But that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And yesterday I saw some nice bags, and I was just like, oh, wait, like, let me see what else before I start shopping. I mean, it's just beautiful. She's got a beautiful range. She's a beautiful person, as you can see on the outside, as well as on the inside. You're just so gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's so true. You know, I've been a fan of yours for some time, and I adore you. And I'm always calling you. I'm actually concerned that you might think I'm a bit of a stalker. Like, oh, she's calling me. What? I think she likes me. Does she know I've got someone in my life? I'm just kidding. But, you know, you just do that to us sometimes. What can I say? You're just fabulous. I'm so happy for you. I just feel so much joy. So I want to start wrapping up, because we're getting to that time. And I wanted to ask you my favorite question of the night. And that is, Eleanor Roosevelt has a quote that says, comparison is the thief of joy. And so we don't want to compare ourselves, because, you know, that's not where we are. We're coming from a positive place. So what would you say that you relate to or represents to you? What would you say represents Betty Brown or Sukina?
I would say kindness. Kindness is so important to me, and in everything that I do. I'm always banging on about treating Mother Earth with kindness. You know, she's so beautiful, and, you know, take care of her. You know, we go out to enjoy all this beautiful scenery, but then, you know, people go out to enjoy this beautiful nature and then they leave their litter behind, you know, it makes no sense.
Absolutely.
And kindness to everything that is living, and kindness to every person, you know, it's different when we're kind to our friends. And I'll just drop this in quickly. It's just an example about fast fashion. Obviously I'm in fashion, but you know, we're kind to each other and everyone that we know and everyone in our daily lives. But when we're buying a £10, $10 dress at the store, we're not being kind to the person who's made that dress, because we're not thinking far enough. And so many of us are guilty of looking the other way, because right now we want this item, but we don't hold our morals and high enough to say, I want this item, but it's not made in the correct way. And I think that we should always think a little bit further about taking kindness a little bit further.
I think if we know better, we should do better. That's part of it.
Yes, that's it.
So if there's something you could leave with the audience, you know, what thing would you like to leave with the audience during these challenging times? Maybe something that's helped you get through the challenging time. Is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience that might be of help to them?
Something that's always of help to everybody is, well, there's two things. If we're thinking about this time right now, in this challenging time, you know, in lockdown, in how we are, I believe that all this happened for a reason. And that reason is that we all needed to slow down. We all needed to slow down. We needed to start taking care of ourselves. We needed to start to realize what things are really important to us. You know, what is, for me, I started to realize that I really need to take care of my health. I'm not Superwoman. I always think that I am, but I'm not, you know. And, you know, who is important to us? What is important to us? And use this time to do things. Don't just waste this time. You won't get this time back, you know, that in this lockdown time. And I think that, you know, it happened for a reason. Mother Nature is kicking back here and telling us all that we really... we need to sort of think about what's real and go back to basics, and use this time to do something positive that allows a positive change in your life. Is that reading a book? If that's watching some videos, something that's going to change your life when everything goes back to normal, that will still help and aid you.
Yeah, and it's something that you can still hold on to. Something that's tangible, but you're not attached to, like you said.
Yeah.
Something you learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that's changed you inside. So that could be taking up meditation. That could be trying yoga. That could be just something that makes a difference to your life in a positive way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so before you go, I just want to share some more of the beautiful, beautiful comments we've received tonight. Janet Pineda said, "You're such an inspiration." I mean, that's great. Claudie said, "What you think about, you bring about," which is really true. More people asking if you can share the link. So we'll get that out, guys. Don't worry. If we don't get it out during the broadcast, we'll get it out to you right after. So don't worry.
Follow my Instagram and you can see.
What do they do if they're not on Insta? Because someone said I'm not on Insta, but I'll be on Facebook. Okay, you're on Facebook too.
Facebook, Betty Brown on Facebook.
Betty Brown on Facebook. We're going to find you, girl. You can't run. You can hide, but you can run, but you can't hide. And so one of the things someone else said was that, you know, we got lost in the rat race and we need to try and take the positive from this lockdown. And I don't know who you were that said that, but if you can type your name in the chat again so I can know who it was. Because if you don't click on the StreamYard link, then I can't see your name. So sorry if I'm just saying someone said, it's because I don't know. Yvonne said, "Thank you, Sukina. You're a true inspiration. And thank you, Michelle, for another lovely theme." And just more thank yous. So, you know, girl, you're rocking it. You're rocking it. Someone else says, "Walking 3 miles a day, 3 miles every day for me sets my day."
Wow.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you in spirit. I don't know about 3 miles, but
That's one of my favorite things to do.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that was from Rena. Rena, that's beautiful. Rena was the person that said, when we get lost in the rat race, we need to try and take the positive from the lockdown. So Sukina, thank you so much. It's been a fabulous time with you. Thank you for sharing your intimate story, because I think it is an inspiration to many people. You know, many of us get knocked down and we don't know how to pick ourselves up. And the one thing we don't know how to do is to release and let go of the things that no longer serve us. So I'm going to say thank you to you, and I'm going to talk to the audience for a little bit more, but it's been a pleasure. Mwah!
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, my darling. See you, and best of luck for the Christmas season. Let's see what you've got coming up. I'll be looking. Bye, my love.
Bye.
So, guys, that was wonderful, wonderful story, and a wonderful personal, you know, homage to how important it is to hold on to what we know to be true, and to be kind to yourself. That was the resounding theme in that. Be kind to yourself. You know, kindness is such a beautiful thing. And before we go, I just wanted to read a poem to you that I have loved for so much, and it relates to exactly what Sukina talking about tonight. Let me see if I can find it, because I've lost it, because I had it earlier. What did I do with it? Let's see. I think I've got it here. So the poem is called She Let Go. I'm just going to read it to you because it's so beautiful. And I think you'll really feel it if you can sort of close your eyes and just listen to this. We can all relate. So the poem is called She Let Go by Sophia Rose. She let go. She let go without a thought or a word. She let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She let go. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't go and search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her daytime planner. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matters, and she didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a falling leaf from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was what it was. And it wasn't bad. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her. And the sun and the moon shone forevermore. That was Sophia Rose, and She Let Go. I just love that poem. And from me to everyone out there, if you're hanging on to old things that no longer serve you, the relationship that no longer works for you, the friendship that doesn't work for you, the job that doesn't work for you, anything that no longer works for you, if it no longer serves you, just let it go. And you'll feel so much better later on. So thank you again for joining me. It's been a brilliant evening. Thank you for all your wonderful comments, all the the kindness and the love that I'm receiving. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to mention that I'll be putting the link in the chat afterwards for anyone who knows somebody that might need some of my coaching, whether it's one-to-one or group coaching. There's a link there. They can schedule what I call a discovery session, and we can just explore and see if we can do some beautiful things together. So again, thank you so much for joining me on Are You Being Loved Up by You? And I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week. And for those of you, again, in the States, happy Thanksgiving. Mwah. Thank you.